Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the House of Grim podcast. I'm your host, Grim Grimes. My co-host, as always, is...
Damn, Bob, baby.
Damn, Bob. We have a special guest, Fuego Del Sol. Thank you for coming on.
The man, the myth, the legend.
Appreciate y'all for having me.
Oh, yeah, no problem, man. We appreciate you. I gotta ask you, man. What is it? You've worked in AEW. What is it like working there, man? Like,
I mean, there's a couple different ways I can answer that. Of course, it was like dream come true, getting the job. You know, you work so hard. I grinded for 7 years on the indies to try to finally make it somewhere, and then I did almost a year's worth of AEW Dark to finally get signed. So, just felt validating in a lot of ways. You know, I all the hard work was paid off, and then I got to wrestle some of the people I looked up to and be mentored by people all around me that I, respect so much. So, it's hard to beat. It was a dream job. Of course, things didn't go like I would have hoped in some aspects, but in other aspects, it was more than I could have ever imagined. So, very much look back fondly on that time.
Right on.
That's awesome.
Now, I see in the background you got like a lot of anime stuff.
I'm not a huge anime guy, but I would say I'm a pop culture in general for sure.
Oh, okay.
The big anime, even if you consider it an anime, would be Avatar: The Last Airbender, which I have a few different things about right there.
Who's your favorite character from Avatar, man?
Ooh, probably Zuko. I got him on the shirt. But I do love Aang as well. Yeah.
Zuko's my character, man, from that show. Just the whole dynamic between him and his sister, that was awesome stuff.
Absolutely.
Damn, Bob, he's not too into like anime and cartoons in general, but I'm trying to get him there, you know.
Well, I got a bunch of Marvel stuff back there. I got a bunch of Game of Thrones, a bunch of the Golden Girls. I got all four of those. So I'm a jack of all trades.
Gotta ask, who's your Golden Girl?
It's Rose, man. She's like, I got like my top favorite 6 pop figures right here, and Rose is the only Golden Girl up here. So Rose is definitely Betty White.
Dude, Betty White was the queen. You know what I'm saying? I was a huge Betty White fan. I had multiple people text me when she died, like consoling me. I'm like,
same.
I woke up to him. I'm like, no. So, let me ask you: if you could work with anybody, like past or present, whether they're alive or not, who would it be?
Ooh, it depends. Do you mean like you said work with? Do you mean wrestle? Or do you mean learn from? Do you mean
wrestle?
Yeah,
we'll go wrestle.
Man, I don't know. There's like, I just recently wrestled Zack Sabre Jr., right?
Yeah.
And he's someone who, especially in the last years, elevated himself to one of the top people in the industry. He's always been one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. But
for sure.
Sometimes though, I feel like I have these guys that I want to wrestle, that I feel like maybe our styles would clash in a way that still makes a good match. But like, I don't want to do someone similar to me. I always looked up to guys who were smaller in stature, but always made it to the main event scene. So like from early age of Shawn Michaels, he's my guy. Then Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio, the Hardy Boys, right? And like Eddie would be one that I would love to step in the ring with. Shawn Michaels would be one I would love to step in the ring with. But I'm like, would it benefit me to wrestle Shawn as much as it would benefit me to wrestle Eddie? Eddie would probably be better. You watch the matches he had with Ray, and like they always tore it up. So probably Eddie would be like the first on the list. But if we were just talking about people I would like to learn from, Dusty Rhodes, man. I remember when he passed away. I was like so sad because I was like, man, my dream was to make it to NXT at the time, and he's the guy there. I would have loved to learn from him, and I've been so lucky to learn from his 2 sons. So things have worked out in a really good way. But yeah, Eddie Guerrero probably number 1 to wrestle. I wish I could wrestle. Yeah.
Awesome.
A question I got for you, Fuego, man, is do you still talk to Cody Rhodes at all?
We were texting a couple days ago. We have him, and Sammy Guevara. We have a big group chat, and we talk about everything from wrestling, WWE, AEW, just being fathers. We all have kids, so it's just like just all depends on what the week is. But we talk constantly. He's always a mentor.
That's cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was telling I went and watched the AEW pay-per-view this past weekend with some buddies, and like we were talking about it, watching, and we were just like, I was telling him about Cody texting me, and he was just like, "That's crazy! You got the world champion just messaging you and telling you things that you never thought." I was like, "Yeah, it's insane! It's insane! That I got the world champ."
It's be awesome to be able to, like, you know, pick his brain, you know, because man, that man left the WWE and, you know, bet all on himself and did it. You know what I'm saying? And then returns
and then came back.
It's crazy. Bro, like,
yeah. Not only did he bet on himself, he also betted on a lot of other people too. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So. Helped like expand the business, you know, by making a real competitor to WWE. So,
right.
Without a doubt, it was needed, and it was perfect. It came at the perfect time, and it made WWE step up their game in a way that's now it's, you know, as big as ever. So it's been the dominoes that have failed since Cody left WWE the first time has been just crazy to see. I never get signed to a major TV promotion if Cody Rhodes doesn't decide to leave WWE the first time.
Well, I'm sure you would. It just might have took a little bit longer, but I mean, you got some talent, so.
Yes, I appreciate that.
That's cool. You and Sammy are still close. Still, you know what I mean.
Oh yeah, we text every day. Like, that's my best friend. We were best friends before he made it to AEW, and we're best friends even now. I mean, after AEW, that's never going to change. I don't think.
That's awesome. Yeah, he's one person I'd love to talk to, bro. Like, just to have a normal conversation with him, or pick his brain, ask him questions about wrestling. You know what I mean? Big fan of Sammy.
Yeah, he's the man.
I got to see him perform once live, and that was at in Nashville. They did a TV taping
Aero
there
Lucha? Or was it for AEW?
It was for AEW.
Oh, nice. I thought you were really about to throw back.
No.
Throwback. Okay.
It was the first year they did Collision. The main show.
Who did he wrestle in Nashville? Do you remember?
I remember he was tagging with Chris Jericho. But I can't remember who they wrestled. I just remember Jericho at one point was walking around the outside and he grabbed a fan's beer and threw it. And a fan was like, "That's $10." So, which made me laugh. I was laughing it up. I remember Cody getting thrown over the top rope there, and I want to say it was MJF and Wardlow were like choking him with his tie at that episode.
My goodness.
So, how's your relationship with Tony Khan?
There isn't one, I would say. I mean, the times we did talk were nice and cordial, but I think, you know, to consider something a relationship, there has to be like a genuine back and forth. And I don't think there's a genuine back and forth. I think when it was a boss and employee relationship, it was one thing, but since I've come in to just do random Ring of Honor stuff, I mean, I wouldn't say he doesn't like me, but I wouldn't say he loves me by any stretch of the imagination. I've always really used a proxy. I've used a proxy most of the time. When Cody was there, I would talk to him, and he would talk to Tony for me. Or QT now, I'll talk to QT, and QT will talk to Tony for me. But the few times I've tried to talk to Tony, he's been complimentary, but it seemed like he was always ready to get out of the conversation as soon as possible.
I gotcha.
I've won everybody in that company over. Everybody, management, I could talk to Bucks about anything. I could talk to Jericho about anything. I could talk to Cody. I could talk to Kenny about anything. The one person I never won over in that company was Tony Khan, which it makes sense. He's not a wrestler, so he doesn't, we don't have the same rapport that wrestlers would have. Yeah, he's an enigma he's a nut that I never quite cracked, is what I would say.
Well, there's always maybe future. You know what I mean? Never know.
We'll see.
So where would you rather perform more, on AEW or Ring of Honor, or does it not quite matter?
They're basically one and the same at this point. AEW has television, right? So many, like, even the great part about AEW Dark was at least it was going out free on YouTube. There's not a ton of people sub to Honor Club. Like, it's a fraction of the amount that we're watching AEW Dark each week. So I'd rather have just been on AEW Dark compared to being on Ring of Honor, because like you see on social media on a Thursday night, it's very rare besides the Ring of Honor account tweeting things out and letting people know what's going on compared to back during the AEW Dark Days. It's just there's too much wrestling on already for free.
Right.
And then want to make people charge people $10 for a thing that you can clearly tell is used more as like a developmental or thrown together show than AEW. So I'd rather wrestle on TV and AEW, and then I'd rather wrestle on AEW Dark than wrestle on Ring of Honor. But it's the same pay. So if I need the paycheck, I'd rather, I want to be backstage at the AEW Ring of Honor show just because I can try to make something happen.
I got you. So like when you were under contract at AEW, whenever you had something to do out there in front of the audience or on TV, did you also have a little more creative freedom and say and ideas like if say you had to do something in a match and could you say not use a chair but use a table, you know what I mean, at your discretion?
You definitely could always offer up ideas like that. They don't nitpick the matches. Just, you don't want to have the same finish as another person. You don't want to have similar type angles back to back. I only had maybe like 8 or 9 TV matches altogether in my 2 years there where I was signed. But I'm sure on one of the Miro matches, we could have easily used the table if we wanted to use the table. They never stifled your creativity in that sense. But there's clearly a pecking order and a totem pole, and I was low down on that pecking order. So you really don't get TV matches unless, you're on top of that. Unless one of the guys up on top of that totem pole chooses you to work with in a lot of ways. But no, they were never they never stifled you creatively, I don't think, at least match-wise. They let you put your match together and just try to keep everything as one coherent story to flow throughout the show that didn't contradict with each other.
Okay, I got you. You got any advice that you could give any future wrestler that's coming up in the ranks?
I think young people trying to get into wrestling are a little naive and just want to jump into the first ring that they see when that's not necessarily going to help them long term, but their goal is to make it to a TV company or make a lot of money doing professional wrestling. Then you need to find a credible trainer. And what I mean by credible trainer is that they have been on television and made a lot of money, or they have trained someone that has went to be on television and made a lot of money. So many guys jump in the business and just are so eager to just find a ring near them that they will get shady trainers and shady promoters trying to use them and abuse them and not try to help their career, but really just try to use them to squeeze every bit of money and free labor out of them as possible. So you might as well just work on your body now, because anybody can start doing push-ups and squats and stuff right now, and save up the money to really invest in a nice wrestling school. If you don't have one close to you, Google one, the closest one, and I'm sure you can find one. If you know a wrestler that lives in your state, shoot them a message and say, hey, do you know a good, credible school near us? And I'm sure someone will message you back and let you know something. So that's my advice. I have a training school in southern Oklahoma where me and D'Lo Brown and a few other indie guys help train guys constantly. And it's a big part of my life, and I enjoy it very much, training people and helping guys learn pro wrestling. And I just preach that so much. Find a credible school with a credible trainer. Don't just jump into whatever school. It's cheap and nearby.
Right. Okay. Yeah, we got a independent school that teaches not too far from where we stay at. It's in Goodrich, Michigan, and it's they also do shows, and they're the only independent wrestling promotion that really travels in Michigan. And it's you might have heard of them. I don't know. It's Pure Pro Wrestling. We've interviewed a lot of their talent, a lot of their superstars. They have like Rhino on. Sometimes they have a lot of bigger names too. You know what I mean? But a lot of their homegrown talent is some good stars. You know what I mean? They got Global Fire Drake, Alpha Ray Adams. I got his shirt on right here.
Nice.
You know, some of these guys, man, you'll probably end up seeing later on down the road, I'm sure. But that's a good, credible school. That's a place. They also
ran by
teach
Xavier
kids.
Justice.
Nice.
They teach kids, like from age of 6 to I think 17 or something like that. Kind of gives kids in the area something to do, keep them out of the streets and things.
It's always good.
Man, Fuego, I really appreciate you coming on, man, taking the time, bro. It's really awesome, bro. Man, thought I was getting scammed for a minute, you know what I'm saying? Because you're a busy guy, you know what I'm saying?
I'm glad we can make it happen. I'm sorry to delay it for as long as we did.
Hey, man,
it's good, man. Totally understand.
I do have a question for you. Do you have any memorable road stories?
Memorable road stories. I'm trying to think of one that'll pop. Well, some of the funniest things we ever did was on the vlog, right? Just traveling around on the vlog and doing crazy stuff on the vlog is a fun one. Let me think. There's got to be something that like pops into my head. Yeah, it's a tricky subject, right? Because some of these things you should not tell people about.
Right.
Driving on the road.
Fair enough.
Certain things that my buddy would be very upset at me if I said this, what he did with this girl, or this, where he pranked this person. Yeah, let me decipher. Oh, well, recently, I got to go backstage at a Monday Night Raw. And meet some people and talk to people. And after the main event segment was over, Cody Rhodes ran to the back and he's like, "Hey, do you wanna go get on the bus and take a shot with me?" And I was like, "Absolutely, I want to jump on the bus with the world champion and take a shot with him." And so we go out there and we take the shot. And he's like, "Do you want to take a picture?" And I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to take a picture." And then we took a photo, and then we just sat there and we talked, and then you could tell that he still has some underlying feelings about AEW, but we like picked up right where we left off last time, and we just were talking and talking and talking. And it was so cool to kind of have to humble yourself and go backstage in a spot you're not hired at and talk to people and be cordial, but for Cody to just bring me in and introduce me to all these guys and and be so kind. It was fun. It was really fun. So that's just a more recent story that involves the world champion, but that's definitely one of them.
Let me ask you, what'd you guys take a shot of? Was it Wheatley vodka?
It might have been wheat. I know actually it was some whiskey. It was some whiskey. Somebody gifted him some whiskey, and I can't remember who he said gifted him, but he said it'd been on the bus for a while. But he said it was a gift from someone. Let's just say Nick Khan. Let's say Nick Khan gifted him the whiskey because that sounds more fun, right?
Yeah, Nick Khan gave him whiskey.
But this was before the Wheatley sponsorship. So.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's gotta be awesome, bro. To have the friends that you got, bro, like Cody, bro. Man, that's awesome.
So many people I watched growing up, right? Like recently, I was backstage at Ring of Honor and I was watching the monitor, and out of nowhere, Bryan Danielson just comes up and sits down, and we have like a 20-minute conversation about he loves to ask wrestlers how many pull-ups they can do. So we talked about pull-ups, then we talked about our children, then we talked a little bit of wrestlers, and then like he walks away and there's like two other guys sitting there, and I kind of lean up to them and I'm like, "Yo, that was so cool. Bryan Danielson just took time out of his day to just want to come up and sit down and talk to me for 20 minutes. It's like I was at WrestleMania 30 when he won both belts. I was there doing the last chant. Like I just started my wrestling career, right? Like I can DM CM Punk right now and he'll DM me back, right? Like things like that. Like me and Matt Hardy are like genuinely good friends. Someone I pretended to be on my trampoline growing up. So like to have the respect of all of these people and for them to go out of their way to text me back or message me back is never not, it'll never not be super cool to me to have that and to know how far I've gotten in the business. So it's pretty dope.
Yeah. I can just imagine how that feeling would be. I get a kick out of just talking to you right now, man. Like my fandom is going crazy.
What do you? Hell yeah. What shows do you have coming up soon?
GCW this coming weekend. I'll be in Kansas City on March 14th, Friday night, for Fountain Pro Wrestling. And then on Saturday and Sunday, the 15th and 16th of March, I'll be in Atlantic City, New Jersey for GCW. On March 22nd, I'll be in Montana for Flashback Pro Wrestling. On the hold on, what's the end of March? There's some like 3 shows at the end of March I'm doing as well. March 29th, I'll be in Colorado. I'll be wrestling Rob Risen. Risen, this guy who I had some interaction with on AEW Dark back in the day. I'm trying not to overload y'all with dates. On March 27th, I'll be down in Houston, Texas. That's a Thursday night show. And on March 30th, I'll be GCW in St. Louis, Missouri. So a bunch of different things coming up. And then I got a ton of shows booked already for WrestleMania weekend in Vegas. So if you're there, definitely come check me out, buy some merch, check out your boy.
I wish I could. I have a friend, Jonathan, who lives in Vegas. I'm like, man, you're so lucky. Like, wrestling Mecca is going to be there.
It's coming right
in
to
your
you,
city, man.
Yeah.
He was talking about trying to get Mania tickets. I'm like, so jealous.
So, have you ever been to Michigan by chance?
No, see, that's one of the states. I've wrestled in 34 states. I still have, 26 to mark off, and Michigan is one I need to mark off. I've messaged some people back and forth about it, but it's never come to fruition. So I definitely would love to mark Michigan off one of the states.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of us fans around Michigan would love to see you around here.
I would love to come up. We definitely got to make that happen soon enough.
What about, you ever make it to Japan?
Never wrestled in Japan. I've wrestled in England and in Wales and in Canada and in Mexico. But Japan is on the goal list for this year. So maybe we'll make something happen this year.
I seen a post you made about probably saying their name, the Koger brothers.
Yes.
And they tortured Sam Stackhouse or whatever in front of you?
Right in front of me last weekend. It was a rough weekend. I set my sights on GCW Gold, and I really wanted to pick up some momentum that weekend. And so now to have this detour where I feel like I got to get even and finish this story with them before I can go on to challenge for gold like I want. I wrestle Atticus Coker this Saturday, and I know this match is probably going to get wild and a little extreme and a little crazy, and it's not something I'm used to, but I'm not afraid to step in there and get wild and get crazy. So I'm looking forward to that this weekend. I got to get even and make a man bleed a little bit, and then I'll turn my focus back to GCW Gold.
Where can people see this at? Is it going to be
Triller TV, the
Triller
app Triller TV? Just subscribe to Triller, and you can get all of the GCW events. And I wrestle there so much throughout the year. You can watch my match with Zack Sabre Jr. on Triller as well. It used to be Fight TV, but now it's Triller TV. Okay. So definitely download the app and check us out.
I'm going to have to download that.
I have to do that for sure.
Heck yeah.
I had found out about this app, IWTV. One of our local promotion uses that. So
yeah, that one is a big one. Title Match Network is another one that a lot of independent companies use, and then High Spots Network as well. But those are like the 3 main ones that where you can find most independent wrestling shows nowadays. Is Triller, IWTV, or Title Match Network.
So, I don't know how to word this. You mentioned Eddie and Rey Mysterio and whatnot, but is there any opposite style wrestlers that you really inspired you as well? You know what I'm saying? Somebody that wasn't a cruiserweight style or high flyer.
I mean, of course, The Undertaker. I've always loved Taker. I'm trying to think of who
you were
to me
you said you were there for WrestleMania 30 that's where the streak ended.
Yeah, man. I questioned it. Something happened wrong. I said, "Oh, he kicked out. He kicked out with the ref counted 3 by mistake." I thought it was some type of mistake.
Yeah.
It just didn't seem real.
Right.
I never heard 70,000 people go silent. It was just we were all in shock. It was crazy. Yeah, I mean, Regal is another one. You don't see me being a technical guy, but I love the way William Regal wrestles. And so he's definitely one that is another guy that stands out to me that I really was inspired by as well.
We've said here on this before that Regal gave Goldberg his best match.
For sure.
So funny.
Was it like 6 minutes of hell? Goldberg was like, "What the hell's going on here?"
It's very funny. I wonder how much of a fit Bill Goldberg threw after that. I would love to have been a fly on the wall.
Yeah, for sure.
Well,
that'd have been great.
I know he said like he claims he took liberties with him, but
It's like, you knew I couldn't work. Well, what are you doing out there then? That's all I want to know.
Nothing he did that was unsafe in that match. I've watched it a few times.
No. I agree.
Yeah. So I'm glad to see that you're busy as ever. But I do see, at least I feel anyways, that like NXT is in your future, bro. That's how I feel.
I definitely think I'm one of the best unsigned talents in the world, and I feel like every chance I get to prove that, I show that, and I think sometime soon, before the end of this year, I'll be picked up by some company.
I guarantee it, bro, because and this is the main thing I see, bro. Like, anytime I get on YouTube, Facebook, any social media platform, no matter what it is, whenever I see you on there, I see a lot of fans clamoring towards you, wanting to see you. You know what I mean? Like, so many of us still want to see you in All Elite Wrestling. You know, we want to see you in Ring of Honor. We want to see you anywhere and everywhere we can. Like, we're all big fans of Fuego del Sol. You know, so I definitely see NXT picking you up or somebody, TNA somebody. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that. That's definitely the goal, and hopefully we'll achieve that this year.
Well, thank you very much, Fuego, for taking your time to come out on our show, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem, man. I'm glad we got to finally knock it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, this has been the House of Grim podcast. As always, you'll be entertained. Yeah.